hazardous chemicals and wastes are all around us, but so are the solutions. The Basel, Rotterdam and Stockholm Conventions are powerful examples of how international cooperation can progress our shared objectives and serve as a model for our future protection of the planet. Today, we renew political commitment. Today, we recognize our progress and we raise ambition. Today, we make visible the invisible.
We are here to work, we are committed, and we want changes to take place. We want to reach these targets, the biodiversity targets, the climate targets, all the targets set by the BRS. Who is gonna bring them to fruition?
It is vitally important to form partnerships, especially since we know that governments alone cannot solve environmental problems. They need to partner with academia, with the private sector who has the resources in order to mobilize innovation, new products, new approaches, new technologies, and so on. And of course with civil society, because they are in connection with the people. They work on the ground.
This is why it's important that we gather here together from different organizations and institutions that are talking about the importance of taking into account sound management of chemicals. What regulations are in place that eventually find themselves in legislation, in policy at the country level? Because even though we can be speaking at this global, very high level segment, the ultimate decision is also made at a national and sovereign level.
By leveraging synergies and by explaining that work on pollution is work also on protecting biodiversity and on saving our climate, we can move forward. But then beyond this sort of, conceptual discussion, the real question is, where do these synergies have to happen?
All of the global environmental problems are tied together. I mean, the loss of biodiversity, climate change, and pollution are all intertwined because they are the effects of an unsustainable global pattern of consumption and production. So we got a systemic problem. To that systemic problem, we need to have a systemic approach to solve it.
We need to make waste visible at the very beginning of its creation and even before it is created. Our efforts should be directed toward prevention, at making the waste process transparent, and require producers and to take responsibility for waste until it's neutralized.
Do people know that when you take your clothes to dry cleaners, it's more likely going to be soaked in highly hazardous chemicals that are carcinogenic? Do our agricultural specialists, market vendors understand that using certain pesticides can cause various cancers? Do we understand the harmful impacts of plastics and how it impacts our biodiversity, human health, and environmental health?
We need to make sure that things that are seemingly invisible because we cannot see these chemicals, we know that they will manifest very visibly and we can see what their impacts are like. So we need to have a conversation about making visible the invisible.
We can safeguard our shared future for people and the planet by reducing pollution and promoting sustainable consumption and production, by making the transition to circular economy approaches, and by enhancing the implementation of the conventions with technical and financial capacity.
Here at the local level, where we are integrating, we have multifocal projects. That's what the Jeff has recommended. So money going to climate has impacts on biodiversity, chemicals, and waste.
The Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm Conventions are more than legal agreements. They show what we can accomplish when we work together. Let's reaffirm our commitment today, not just in words, but in action. I think if we get it right, we can change the trajectory of environmental and human health for generations to come.
If we get this right, we will ensure a legacy of successful implementation of chemicals management globally. A person only lasts one lifetime, but their history is remembered forever. Please, I urge you, get this right.